Some discoveries don't just rewrite history. They challenge the very limits of what we thought ancient humans could achieve. This is one of those stories. In the year 1900, off the coast of the small Greek island of Antikythera, a group of sponge divers braved the rough seas in search of harvestable sponges. But what they stumbled upon would eventually become one of the most puzzling archaeological discoveries of all time. At first, it was just wreckage, the shattered remains of a Roman-era merchant ship. But then, buried among statues, pottery, and bronze, they found something strange, something mechanical. A heavily encrusted bronze object, no larger than a shoebox, covered in gears. Gears in a 2,000-year-old shipwreck. This didn't make sense. Historians, scientists, and engineers would spend more than a century trying to decode it. And even now, after decades of research, we still don't fully understand its secrets. What was this device? Who made it? And how, in the ancient world, was something so advanced even possible? We call it the Antikythera Mechanism. And today, we dive into its enigma. After the sponge divers returned to the surface with their strange find, the object was handed over to the National Archaeological Museum in Athens. At first glance, the artifact seemed almost unremarkable, just a corroded lump of bronze and wood. But as experts began cleaning it, something astonishing appeared. Gears. Dozens of tiny hand-cut gears, some with triangular teeth. Rotating rings. Inscriptions in Greek. It wasn't just metal, it was machinery. At the time, the early 1900s, such complexity in an ancient device seemed impossible. Some scholars even dismissed it as a fake. After all, geared technology wasn't supposed to exist until medieval Europe, 1,400 years later. So for decades, the Antikythera mechanism sat in a museum drawer, mostly ignored. A curiosity, a puzzle no one could solve. But in 1951, British physicist Derek J. de Solla Price entered the picture. He believed the device was real and that it might be a lost ancient computer, and so began the modern quest to decode the Antikythera mechanism. In the 1970s, Price and a Greek nuclear physicist used X-ray imaging to look inside the corroded bronze. What they found was staggering. More than 30 gears, not randomly placed, but designed in a precise arrangement. The gears were interconnected, some stacked, some layered. It was intentional engineering from a world where such technology wasn't supposed to exist. Some gears had 127 teeth, others 223. And these weren't just random numbers. They correlated to astronomical cycles, the Metonic cycle, the Saros eclipse cycle, and more. What they were looking at was not a toy, not an art piece, not a hoax. It was a mechanical device designed to predict the movements of the sun, the moon, and maybe even planets. The Antikythera mechanism wasn't just ancient, it was intelligent. A window into the forgotten genius of the ancient world. But this was just the beginning, because decoding the gears was one thing, understanding their purpose was another. Imagine a device built over 2,000 years ago that could track the movements of celestial bodies with astonishing accuracy. The Antikythera mechanism wasn't just symbolic or artistic, it functioned, and its design was nothing short of revolutionary. At the heart of the mechanism was a complex network of bronze gears, at least 30, though some believe there were originally over 60. Each one meticulously handcrafted, some as small as a thumbnail. Turn a single dial, and everything moves. The gears interact, cascade, synchronize, simulating astronomical cycles, the phases of the moon, solar positions, eclipses, and even planetary motions. The front of the mechanism featured a large circular dial. This wasn't a clock. It was a calendar wheel showing the 365-day Egyptian calendar. Around it, zodiac signs, tracking the sun's movement through constellations. As you turned the main crank, a small pointer moved through time, revealing the exact position of the sun on any given date. But the magic was just beginning. The mechanism had a secondary dial for the moon. It didn't just track lunar position, it showed the phases of the moon. And here's the mind-bending part. To simulate the moon's irregular orbit, the ancient engineers used a differential gear. That's right, A gear inside a gear, rotating at two different speeds, something we thought wasn't invented until the 16th century. And then there was the Saros dial, a spiral display on the back predicting solar and lunar eclipses over an 18-year cycle. This alone would have required extraordinary astronomical knowledge. And finally, inscriptions, hundreds of Greek letters, labeling stars, planetary cycles, and technical instructions. The device wasn't just meant to be used, it was meant to teach. A kind of ancient instruction manual carved into metal. This wasn't just craftsmanship, it was science. This wasn't guesswork. It was data-driven, math-powered engineering, centuries before we believed such things were possible. It could have been used by sailors to navigate by the stars, by scholars to plan ceremonies or track celestial omens, or maybe even by astrologers to predict events and fate. Whatever its purpose, one thing is clear. The Antikythera Mechanism is the world's oldest known analog computer. And for over 1,000 years, the knowledge to build such a thing simply vanished. For a machine so impossibly advanced, one question remains at the center of its enigma. Who built the Antikythera Mechanism and why? The inscriptions on the device were written in Greek, suggesting it was crafted in the Hellenistic world, possibly between 150 and 100 BCE. That period wasn't just about philosophers and warriors. It was also a time of incredible scientific progress, when thinkers like Archimedes, Hipparchus, and Ptolemy were exploring astronomy and mathematics at remarkable levels. Some believe the device originated in Rhodes, an island known for its advanced schools of astronomy and engineering. Could it have come from the mind of Hipparchus, the father of trigonometry? He lived around the same time. He mapped the stars, and he even described the moon's irregular motion, a perfect match for what the Antikythera Mechanism calculated. Others suggest it may have been built in Alexandria, the intellectual heart of the ancient world, home to the legendary Library of Alexandria and countless lost works of science. But here's the twist. Whoever made it wasn't just an astronomer. They were a watchmaker of the cosmos, blending science, engineering, and art into one breathtaking device. This was not built to be admired, it was built to function, to predict, to show the future, the dance of the sun, the moon, eclipses, perhaps even the Olympiad cycles. It could have been used for teaching, navigation, even astrology. But here's what truly chills the spine. No other device like it has ever been found. Was this a one-off miracle, or were there more like it, lost to time, waiting to be uncovered beneath the waves? The Antikythera Mechanism isn't just about gears, it's about genius. Hidden, forgotten, and maybe silenced by history itself. The mystery of the Antikythera Mechanism didn't end in ancient times. Modern scientists and engineers have dedicated decades to unraveling its secrets, using the most advanced technology available. X-ray computed tomography, 3D scanning, and digital modeling have peeled back layers of corrosion, revealing details no one could have imagined in 1900. These cutting-edge tools uncovered hidden inscriptions, additional gears, and the intricate relationships between parts, proving the mechanism was far more sophisticated than initially believed. The device has inspired many to build replicas, painstaking recreations that bring the ancient mechanism back to life. By turning a crank, these replicas simulate the celestial movements that the original once displayed, allowing us to see through the eyes of ancient engineers. One of the most famous replicas was built by a team at University College London, using open-source technology and historical research. Their work showed just how revolutionary the mechanism was, a true technological marvel that pushed the boundaries of what we thought was possible in the ancient world. The Antikythera Mechanism challenges our understanding of history and the progression of science. It asks us to reconsider the narrative of human achievement, reminding us that genius isn't confined to our modern era. And while many questions remain unanswered, each new discovery shines a light on the extraordinary minds that built this ancient computer. The Enigma lives on in museums, research labs, and in the imagination of everyone fascinated by the wonders of the past. The Antikythera Mechanism remains one of the greatest mysteries in the history of science. It's a testament to human curiosity, ingenuity, and the timeless quest to understand the cosmos. Though the knowledge behind it was lost for centuries, the mechanism's discovery has sparked a renaissance in the study of ancient technology. It challenges our assumptions about the timeline of human progress. Today, it inspires engineers, historians, and dreamers alike, a symbol of the incredible potential of the human mind. Its legacy lives on in modern computing, astronomy, and even in popular culture. The Antikythera Mechanism reminds us, sometimes the past holds answers to the future. As we continue to explore its secrets, we honor the ancient minds that dared to imagine beyond their time. And perhaps in doing so, we find a little of that genius within ourselves. The Antikythera Mechanism isn't just an ancient machine, it's a reminder that human brilliance is timeless. Somewhere buried under centuries of dust and water might be other marvels, still waiting to be found. And as we've seen today, some stories from the past don't just deserve to be told. They deserve to be heard again, even if, as always, you will not hear these stories again. Subscribe for more mysteries history tried to bury.